Hi, this is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla. All right. Good morning. Good morning. You are watching The Faith Factor, and I am your host, Faith. And you know what time it is. I have been on a Ukrainian war kick for the last few days, and I'm still on that kick because there are some other things that I want to uncover in this Russia-Ukrainian war discussion. And one of the things that I want to talk about are crimes of war. And I think it is important to touch on crimes of war because this is something that a lot of us don't know about. Nobody ever speaks about countries needing to be sued for war crimes. Now, there are certain things that have been put in place since World War I and World War II, and this is called the ICC. And what the ICC initially was for to prosecute countries who committed current crimes of war. This is crimes against humanity, wars against humanity, people that try to commit genocide, rape during war, all different types of war crimes that could possibly have you landed in jail for a lifetime or even up to the death penalty. But we're going to talk about how ineffective the ICC has been since its inception in 2004 for prosecuting for war crimes. We're going to talk about how ineffective they are. And also, we're going to talk about Black people who are stuck in Ukraine. These are non-Ukrainian citizens who are Black. They're stuck there trying to get out. And yet, for some reason, they, more than anybody else, have been turned away from borders like Poland. We remember O'Shea Duke Jackson spent a lot of time in Poland. So places there, that's like right along the Ukrainian border, they're being turned away for whatever reason. They're not saying that there's any acts of discrimination, but Nigerians, Black Americans, yet and still we're finding ourselves to be last accepted to cross the borders. So we're going to talk about that because, see, we have a lot of so-called hoteps. We have a lot of so-called Pan-Africanists that will quickly tell you that the Russia-Ukrainian war is not our problem and that is not something that we have to worry about until we find ourselves over there stuck. That is until we find ourselves over there stuck. So I would like to know, if it ain't our problem, whose problem is it? And if nobody else is going to help Blacks all over the diaspora, and this is a shout out to the Pan-Africanists, all of you Pan-Africanists, shout out to y'all. Because if this ain't our problem, then how do we get our brothers and sisters from all across different walks of the globe out of this hostile territory if it ain't our problem? Good morning. I am pretty damn gangster. Chaos reign. DOD, what's up? That's my boy. I love his content, by the way. Y'all got to check out my boy DOD. So, we're going to get deep into the nitty gritty because, see, we all want to talk about the nonsense all the time. All the time. We want to get on here and we want to listen to Tommy and whatever hoes he dealing with. I'll talk about the nonsense, but when I talk about the real shit, don't none of y'all want to show up. How about that? We want to talk about the nonsense. So Tommy and his hoes get more views than what we need to be focusing on, and how this war does affect us all over the diaspora. So now let's get down into it, right? Where's my music? Let me go into my branding. Let me see what I'm feeling today. YouTube, y'all need to up y'all game. This dance pop thing, you need to up your game. I need a little bit more variety here, YouTube. Y'all need to give me something else. But I appreciate you for the background music you did provide. But at least, give me the ability to download some other, music that might be jumping. Just saying. But okay. Getting into the nitty-gritty of it. I just want to say that there are Black people who are stranded out there in Ukraine, and they went there the same way that immigrants come here to the United States for opportunities. We go to different countries as well for opportunities. So I don't want nobody rolling up in here, flapping their mouth, talking about they didn't have no business over there. Because if that's the case, then we need to be saying the same thing about the motherfuckers that come over here for opportunities. And see, your Black asses, and I'm going to get on y'all that like to protect everybody that come in here, especially the Hispanics and the people coming in from Mexico. We like to protect those. But then when we carry our behind somewhere for opportunity as well, to make money and to be self-sufficient, we tell them, well, they should have never had their Black ass over there in the first damn place. All of a sudden, your Black ass can't go nowhere. But they can bring their Hispanic ass, their Asian ass, their Afghanistan ass over here, and it's all good. And your Black ass will be the first one to protect them. You'll be the first one to say, oh, the Mexicans is Black too. Oh, they not eating up our resources. Oh, it's wrong to discriminate against them over here. But when we carry our behinds over there, for the same reason that they bring their behinds over here, and we get discriminated against over there, you all want to start hollering about what we ain't had no business being over there. You see this finger right here? I want all you to pay attention to this finger right here. That's how I feel about all y'all. Because it's bullshit how the Nigerians are being treated at the Polish borders, at the German borders, and all the borders that we're trying to cross through, and we're not getting through successfully. And we all know the reason why. We all know the reason why. So I don't want to hear none of that bullshit from nobody. If you a hotep and you a Pan-Africanist, I want to hear that shit. See, this is the reason why we need to pay attention to what is going on globally. And if I gotta be the motherfucker to say that shit and make everybody mad, hey, y'all been mad at me, so I don't care. Eat a dick. Fuck y'all. That's just how I feel. That's just how the fuck I feel. Now take that rocket and shove it up your ass. So now we're dealing with war crimes. So Ukraine They're talking about gathering this evidence against Putin in Russia, that they have come in and they have launched these attacks on private citizens who are not soldiers. They have bombed preschools and hospitals, that they have launched all types of attacks that would be considered legally as war crimes. And I agree, there definitely should be a penalty against countries that go into other countries who are sovereign nations, who are free for no reason. And not only do you unlawfully attack this country, but you are attacking private citizens. Usually when you're engaging in war with another country, it's supposed to be you against that country's military, their enlisted military, not private citizens. Also during wars, did you know that it's illegal to rape, to pillage? There should be no acts of genocide. So during World War I, there was a lot of talk amongst the nations about these specific crimes that were being infiltrated during times of war, where women were being raped and people were committing mass genocide and enslaving other groups. And so because of this, the nations put together what they call the ICC. Let me see if I can get the proper definition, because I don't want to be up here chopping up what the ICC is. So real quickly, the ICC is the International Criminal Court. That's what that is. So now with the ICC, it's a criminal court that is used only when countries are unwilling or unable to deal with critical issues involving war crimes. Okay. Now, individual countries have their court systems in place for war crimes. But I'm going to tell you what the difference is, and this is why the ICC was so necessary. The ICC became necessary because, like, say for instance, if the United States got into a war with Iraq, like we did, only the winners would be able to bring a country up on war crime charges. And this is problematic, because if I'm the winner of the war, then I have the upper hand. I can deduct details, or I can manipulate the details to make it seem as if certain things happened that didn't even happen if I want somebody to be guilty. And then you would have to be dragged into my court. This is not a court that is unbiased. It's a very biased way of going about convicting countries of war crimes. Another great example is Russia and Ukraine. Can you imagine Russia bringing Ukraine up on war crimes when they're the ones that illegally infiltrated them? But because they may come out of this, or they probably are going to come out of this, the winners, they could do that. Now, countries can hold themselves accountable for war crimes. They absolutely can. But how many times that has ever happened? Think about Nuremberg. See, when the winners get to bring themselves up on war crime activities, they're not going to be harsh on themselves. It's like the police policing themselves. It's like the IRS policing themselves. If Russia was to police themselves against the war crimes that they are committing against Ukraine, do you think that they're actually going to hold themselves accountable? The answer is hell to the fuck no. No, they're not going to do it. So enter the ICC. And what the ICC was supposed to do was that they were supposed to be a international committee put together to hold countries accountable, whether they're the winners or the losers. But here's the one caveat to that. In order for this to take place, every country would have to sign the ICC treaty and agree that they will be held accountable for any war crimes that they commit. The United States signed into it, Russia signed into it, quite a few countries signed into it at first. And I do mean at first. And then what ended up happening is countries start going to war, and they found out that they can't control whether or not soldiers are out there raping and pillaging or taking bribes at borders. And so now this posed a problem, right? Because now, if everybody's going to be held accountable for war crimes, then every country is going to have to be paying all these fines and penalties, and people are going to be going to jail left and right. So guess who was the first to withdraw their contract? The good old US of A. Yes, the good old US of A. Hold on a second. Where is my applause button? Because, you know, we definitely got to give the United States an applause for that. Hold on a second. Let me get my sound effects up. I wasn't ready for y'all. Because see, I think, let me get my sounds up here. My computer is slow, y'all. Y'all donate to the Faith Factor new computer fund. My grandson messed up my gaming laptop. Yeah, I came home one day and it was all on the floor, cracked up. I paid $2,000 for that laptop, and so now y'all, you know, I got to get another one. But anyway, applause to the United States for pulling out of the ICC agreement first. Can we get some applause? Hell yeah! Hell yeah! So, United States was the first to pull out of the ICC agreement. They didn't want to be held accountable. Then Russia pulled out. Applause to Russia for pulling out of the ICC agreement. They didn't want to be held accountable for their war crimes. And then we had a few countries in Africa. I don't know all the names of them, but shout out to the African countries as a group, and they pulled out in mass. They also didn't want to be held accountable via the ICC for their war crimes. And then China. Well, China said, F all y'all. F all y'all. I'm not even going to sign the treaty to begin with. So shout out to China for not even signing the treaty to begin with. Okay, so shout out to all the countries that did not want to be held accountable for their war crimes, including the United States. So how effective is the ICC then if nobody wants to be part of the treaty? I'll tell you how effective they are. They're not. They are not. Oh, Q Savage says they have a video of a Russian soldier on Tinder getting matches on Ukraine girls. Yes, I talked about that in my last video, Q Savage. That's how Kalinsky was able to find out a lot of their locations, because he was having people pose as women on Tinder, and these dumb Russian soldiers was actually giving up their location. Yeah. Idiots, I tell you. But you know, hey, men will be men, right? And guess what? That's going to be an epic fail on their behalf, ain't it? Epic fail. So men being men is going to cause you to get a setback in the war because you're thinking about your penis. So the ICC is ineffective, guys. Ukraine has very few legal options to hold Russia accountable for the invasion. So they could sit up there and they could cry about schools being bombed and all of that. But see here, the International Criminal Court, they're the world's only permanent court for atrocity crimes, the world only. And it would seem like it would be the exact place for perpetrators of illegal invasion where they could be brought to justice, right? You would think. But the International Criminal Court has already had an investigation open into the conflict of Ukraine. They've already had an investigation open. And see, aggression is one of the core crimes established by the criminal court. But ICC members state that they couldn't agree on a definition of what aggression is. So they kept kicking the can down the road, including the crimes in the treaty. And they haven't done anything. Russia has been committing crimes of aggression against Ukraine even before they infiltrated. And now that they have outright evidence, well, Russia withdrew their treaty. So really the ICC doesn't have a leg to stand on to even go after Putin, because you have to be a member of the ICC in order to even be held accountable. So therein lies the conundrum. They could say, yeah, you know, he's guilty of these crimes. But as Cynthia G, Nyla, and the rest of their crew would say, who gonna check me, boo? That's what Putin is initially saying. He's saying, who gonna check me, boo? I am not a member of the ICC, so who gonna check me? And so this has been the problem since World War I and World War II. These war crimes have been going unchecked. Basically, these people have impunity and they know it. The ICC at this point is just a figurehead and an idea that never ever got launched off the ground to begin with. Because nobody, including our country, wants to be held accountable for war crimes. And that's just the simple truth of the matter. Now, there are few places here and there that actually, because of how bad a situation was, they were able to go back to their own countries and have people prosecuted for war crimes, but it has never been done on an international level. On an international level, like I see Q Savage talking about African soldiers that got 12-year-old child soldiers locked up for life of mass murders, and we don't even know if those child soldiers are really, really accountable for their crimes because they're acting under the order of their superiors. So the problem with countries holding their own accountable is that they can easily rewrite history. They can be completely biased. They could lie. They could just outright lie. And who's going to check them, boo? Who's going to check them, boo? Ain't nobody going to check them. The truth of the matter is they can throw off certain crimes on innocent people. They can outright lie, or they could just not hold anybody accountable at all. So that's how unreliable the shit is right now. I'm trying to get you all to understand the gravity of the situation. See, you can point to one and two things that might have happened without knowing exactly what was going on behind the scenes, because you will never know what's going on behind the scenes, because the stuff is not going to be put out there into the public for you to know. And I want you to understand how problematic that is. Me personally, I am a proponent for the ICC. I believe that they should be empowered to go after countries irregardless. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice here. I believe that the ICC should be empowered to go after these countries irregardless to whether or not they sign the treaty. There should be an international task force for war crimes. And that is the ICC, but they should be given more empowerment. It should not be a voluntary thing. That is what I'm saying. And as long as it remains a voluntary thing, there will be no actual justice against war crimes. So I don't want any of you to think that there will be any justice for war crimes, because there just never will be. Unless the ICC is empowered to go after war crime criminals without the cooperation of the leaders of the country signing a treaty. It should be just something that's automatic. And I believe that the leaders should vote on it. And it shouldn't even be up to the leaders. It should be up to the people. If you got a certain amount of votes from your country, from the people, that the people want these countries held accountable for the war crime, then I believe that they should go by the voice of the people. We cannot depend on these leaders, as you can see, because they don't give a damn about holding each other accountable for these war crimes. And the ICC right now is just, I'm telling you, it's just a figurehead. It's just there to make you think something can be done, but there's nothing that can be done. There will be no justice. So Ukraine can gather all the evidence that they want, but there will be no justice. I'm just telling you what I know. So I'm 29 minutes into this video. Everybody that came up in here, I need you to hit that like button. I need you to take this video and I need you to share it onto your community tabs and let everybody know about the Faith Factor morning show. I hate to, hold you all for too long. I try to make my morning show videos very short now and of high quality. So I hope you guys are noticing that the quality has been amped up. And you know what? Since I amped up the quality for you guys, I think that I deserve a round of applause for amping up the quality. Thank you, DOD. DOD said he shared when I started. I appreciate that, brother, because the more eyes on this situation, the more Black people who are being encouraged to think globally. Because, see, they like it when we say it's not our problem, and then we go and sweep things under the rug and bury our head in the sand. They like it when we do that. They like it when we're not thinking globally. Don't let no person that look like you, or even a person that don't look like you, tell you that it's not your business to think globally, because it is, and it does affect us worldwide. So now with that, let me go ahead and stop the music. With that, I'm going to leave you with, I love you guys. I wish all of you to be safe out here, and keep our brothers and sisters in your prayers that are stuck out there in Ukraine and who can't get out because of, how can I say, discriminations at the borders, because we're definitely experiencing that. Definitely experiencing that. We have a brother out, stuck out in Ukraine right now. He is a basketball player. He had put in for his LOC, and that's basically his right to leave and go and do his craft and his art elsewhere. And they intentionally in Ukraine held up the brother's LOC intentionally, and they have him stuck out there for no reason, intentionally. So don't think it don't affect you, because it does. And with that, I want to say peace. Love you guys. I'm out of here. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm out.